You thought buying a Louis bag, Gucci belt, or the big red boot from Mischief was a flex? Just wait until you fall in love with cars. Then you're gonna run into some real money. Mookie here with part two of my dream car garage. We are last left off at $102,000 with only 6 cars in the garage so far, in the mythical garage that doesn't exist. We're 6 cars in and we're going 6 inches deeper today, starting with the 89 Honda CRX. The 89 Honda CRX, just another car that really speaks to me personally. It was my mother's favorite car. It was her first car she ever owned, her first brand new car she ever owned. She drove that thing until my drug-addled father decided to take it one day and just not come back with it. He came back with like a Corolla or something, and it's like, hey, this isn't the car you left with. And he's like, oh, that's the car I found the keys for. And we're like, wait, that doesn't make sense. He's like, well, you see, I was driving down the road, I got out of the car, got back in the car, it was a different car. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Anyway, I've always wanted to keep that same dream alive, that same like youth that my mom had driving that car. I've always wanted to drive one. I've always wanted to have one just to kind of feel what that felt, feel what 89 felt like for those people at that time, being my mom and her generation, being that she's such a strong, independent woman, like a person I look up to. So this would be a car that would just kind of semblance that, and even later and later in years, and God forbid when she's gone, it would be something to hold on to. So now with this particular vehicle, similar to a lot of the other cars, I feel like I have a trend for damaged cars, much as I do for damaged women, with these cars, because I keep wanting the cars that are just always broken. No matter where you look, they got problems, they got daddy issues, no matter where you go, no matter where you look, Kevin's had enough. It's late. But just like every other car, just like this one, it's just, no matter how many of them you find, they're broken, they're beat down, the clear coat's almost gone on the car. So we're going to be pricing the ones that are in pristine enough condition according to Kelly Blue Book. I'm going to give you my price, and then we're going to look over to Kevin where he has the actual Kelly Blue Book price of what it actually would be. So what I'm thinking, not Kelly Blue Book, but what I think the market looks like right now for that particular vehicle. It is an underrated, underappreciated vehicle, but unfortunately the people who own it, the people who are selling it, actually know what they got. So they know what they got, but they also don't know how to price it to where it's like, oh, I actually want to sell it. So what I'm guessing is it's about, which is crazy how much in the same range these are, from like 10,000 to 20,000. They're all in that same range with these Hondas. But I would say about 11,000 would get you a crisp, clean one. I think if you want to go a little less, but it's still good, it just has high miles, I would think you'd get maybe about $6,000, $7,000, if it really has high miles, but it just looks good, and it's not completely beat to hell, and it actually works. I'd say $6,000 to $7,000. So I'm going to go with $6,000 to $7,000 because I think Kelly Blue Book errs on the side of, if it's older, it'll have high miles. But let's go to the board. And so Kelly Blue Book says $5,000. I like that. I think that's cool. I think that's optimistic. And if Kelly Blue Book wants to help me find one for $5,000, that'd be great. I'd buy it today for $2,000. But that's what I have. But $5,000 is a great price. So we're gonna go ahead and clock that one in. That's the first one to go. Not too bad. Only $5,000 more in the Dream Garage. 102,000. We could do that. Maybe like 10 years from now, I could save up 102,000. Just buy those first 6 cars, just one after another. If they haven't increased threefold by then with the second pandemic that happens, you didn't hear it first. Sorry for saying pandemic, YouTube. I apologize. So we got 5,000 in. We're moving on to the next one. The next one we have is the 2006 Mitsubishi Evo 9, a fan favorite. If you have ever claimed to like cars, you love the Evo 9. Even if you like a WRX more, I know everyone remembers in like 2016, 2017, all the Instagram pages that popped up of like Evo versus WRX versus Evo. Which one's better? Which one does more off-road? Evo doesn't really do off-road, even though it does rally, but WRX isn't really great for rallying, but it does off-road. But it's like, it doesn't, the fight's null and void. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's just, one's better than the other one's better than the other one, and other things. I'm not gonna say which is which because then I'll get comments. Actually, I will say which is which. The Evo is better. The Evo 9 is better. The Evo 10 is not better, but the WRX after that is better. But that's besides the point. Evo 9 is fantastic. It's a great car. It just looks great. I mean, we all know the word forged internals, which it has, which is a great, you know, thing to have when you're just upping horsepower. Everybody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who has 1,000 horsepower Evo 9 for absolutely no reason and spend about $70,000, including the vehicle, just to get it there. But I just want the car, probably spend about $25,000 modifying it in this fictional scenario where I have $25,000 to modify it, but it would cost about that much to get it to where I want it to. It would not be a vehicle I'd be kind to. I would absolutely drive that thing because the Evo 9's really, even though it is gonna hold its value and it is like a car that we all love and that we all just like, you know, we look at it and we're just like, man, that's great. Like, look how mint that is. It's OEM as heck. Like, it looks great. It's the same original OEM OZ rally wheels, has a OEM everything rally art stylings on it. It looks fantastic. But everyone wants to ruin it, and I want to ruin it in the best way. But before ruining it, I think that the cost of it would be, I'd say 30,000 would be an agreeable cost. Because I remember when I was looking for a friend, it was about that much, but that was about 6 years ago. For 30,000 for a completely clean, inside and outside, under 100,000 miles, or a little bit over 100,000 miles even, I'd take it for about $30,000. And Kelly Blue Book says, all right, this was not on the car list, but we are adding a off-season draft pick for the 2004 Mitsubishi Lancer LS for $4,000. Kelly Blue Book for $4,000. Throw that on top of the list so far. We're adding it to the spreadsheet. We're adding it to the subtotal. $4,000 for the 2004 Mitsubishi Lancer LS. You heard it here first. We're gonna drop the 2.0 turbo from the Evo 9. We're gonna drop it in there. We're gonna weld the suspension to make it all-wheel drive. We're gonna put cutouts on the hood. We're gonna retrofit Evo headlights on it. It's gonna be the best evolution wagon you've never seen. It's great. I want it. I love it. It's fantastic. It looks not good, but I like it that it doesn't look great. Where is that, in Minnesota? Kansas. Freaking Kansas has a Mitsubishi Lancer wagon. I never would have guessed. That should have gone in my wagon video. I wish it had. If I had only known about this, that this was even produced in America, I would. Jesus, look at that engine bay. Good God have mercy. Wow. Well, let's get back to the fictional $18,000 Evo 9. I don't think I could find one for $19,000. I think I could find one with a salvage title for about $18,000, or maybe somebody who, you know, had to rebuild it. Maybe a rebuilt engine for $18,000. I'm pretty sure rebuilt tranny for $18,000. But that car has seen some kind of something. Something broke. Something vital broke to where it's $18,000. Because I think one that just it hasn't seen the inside of a service center. It hasn't needed a rebuilt trans or rebuilt motor, or, you know, just like a new head, like it or new valves or whatever. It's like, it definitely would cost way more than $18,000. We're gonna chuck it in there, $18,000 or whatever the total is for the median price of it. I think 17 or 18. We're gonna check that in there. Moving on to the next one, the 2004 Lancer LS wagon. Next one being the 03 Mazda Speed Protege. I don't know if it's quite a Mazda Speed, but I've seen some that just have Mazda Speed. Could just be an emblem they bought. There's nothing fancy about this car at all. There's nothing telling about this car. There's not even anything that like remotely stands out about this car other than it just being like a sedan. It looks eerily similar to like the same year Lancer. You know, coincidence? I think not. But I think it has like a little individualistic character that I really like. I would really like this car because I would like to keep it probably at like as stock as possible. Maybe put some like better wheels on it, yeah, some tint, maybe a better tail, whatever the case may be. Keep it very simple, and just like, but like kind of wow people, kind of with like a different flavor. You know, there's a lot of other cars out there similar to that Lancer we just saw with the wagon. It's like there's a lot of production vehicles that kind of go over our heads, or because we weren't really like aware of it in that year that it came out, then it just kind of slips through the cracks, and what do you know, you find a gem. And I feel that I found a gem with the 03 Mazda Protege. 172 horsepower, I think it's front wheel drive. Like, that's pretty competitive for the time for a front wheel drive, you know, mass manufactured vehicle for the 03 Protege. And it has a sleek styling, it looks good. I wouldn't be ashamed to get caught in the street with it as long as it's clean, you know, detailed, looking nice. I'd probably do like a yellow on it, like a yellow kind of wrap or yellow repaint, and with some black wheels, just keeping it really classy, really glossy. And I don't know, I just feel that a lot of people would be interested. Like, what got you into this car? And it would be one I'd definitely daily as compared to some other cars, just to keep the mystery alive of like what's going on in my head. But start off, I think that because this is such a slip through the crack car, I think we could get this car for about 3 Gs. I think we could do 3 Gs, 3,500, clean and clear sight on scene, and we get one that works, and maybe it needs some TLC, but it works, and it's the car, and it's the one that we wanted. What are we looking at? Wow, we are on the money today. 3,900. That's fine. We'll check 3,900. I would probably go up to 3,900 just to make sure that I got one that wasn't like salvage title, didn't have like back registration on it. You'd probably have to pay 3,900 regardless, because there probably is one that has back registration, whatever the case may be. That's a great price. I'd get that today. If I could start building the dream garage today, I'd get that today. So that's a fantastic one. We're gonna move on. Another Mazda on the list, and everyone's gonna hate it, but I love it. The Mazda 5. Specifically the 2015 Mazda 5, not the CX-5, not the CX-50, the Mazda MPV-5, the multi-passenger vehicle, the thing that looks like it carries around disabled veterans all across the county. While you pull up to the Walmart and there's like the dial-a-ride car that pulls up. It looks eerily similar to the dial-a-ride car. I love the MPV. I don't know why, I've always loved the MPV. It's a 3-road compact minivan. You already think minivan is small? No, this thing is a smaller it's a compact minivan. The MPV is beautiful. I love it. No, everybody hates it. I feel like it looks like they took a Mazda 3 hatchback and they just stretched that bad boy. They just took that Mazda 3 hatchback and they just pulled it apart, added a 3rd row and said, here you go, this is what you get. And this would bring me so much joy, because like there's not going to be a Mazda Speed 3 on this list, because this Mazda 5 would be my Mazda Speed 3. I would take the Mazda Speed 3 engine, turbo and all, chuck it in that bad boy, put like the, you know, the Mazda Speed bumper on the front, and it would be the Mazda Speed 5 is what I would call it. And nobody would like it. I'd pull up somewhere and people would be like, what is this monstrosity? I'm like, hey, you know what? This thing makes 233 horsepower and it fits 8 passengers. So you could just keep on stepping. And I think these go for about 6,000 right now, because nobody wants these. Like, and nobody's selling them. But the people who own them, they don't sell them. There's not a lot for sale. So that tells you something there. Just like how, like, you know, 2016 Accord Coupes are for sale because people love them. People don't get rid of them. But this one, $6,000. And the Kelley Blue Book says, again, close $9,000, because that's probably for one that's just like really, really clean. No body damage, no wear and tear on the inside. You know, I don't need to replace vinyl or anything like that. I don't need to put new interior in. That's a great price. That's fantastic. I would cop today. $9,000. That's a great way to start the car garage. And now $9,000, I put another $9,000, an $18,000 car for it to run at almost 300 horsepower, and it looks like a Mazda Speed 3 without having to be one, without having to pay $32,000 for a Mazda Speed 3 for like something the equivalent condition. Say less. Let's move on. 2001 Acura NSX, or if you get it imported, Honda NSX. This vehicle has been the envy of me, everyone I've grown up with, anyone around me who's ever just, you know, been in the same place as me as far as cars are concerned. All my friends, they all recognize this vehicle as being just like the top tier of the top tier, the cream of the creme, the soft top on your Dutch Bros Golden Eagle, your Sprinky Sprinks, your Sugar Sprinks. And everyone recognizes and respects this car unbelievably. Even when it's modified, even when it's heavily modified, we still respect the owner because we know that they picked that car because they genuinely love that vehicle. Not because of the horsepower, not because it's like, well, it's a Ferrari and it's this, like, well, it's, you know, it's a status symbol, because the NSX really isn't. It's not a status symbol. Like, it looks like an F40, it drives like one without the horsepower, without the top speed, but it is something that we love. It's something that we genuinely love. Like, you don't purchase an NSX without a story. And neither would I. I don't purchase it without a story, because it is that same vehicle to where everybody had, you know, the Ferraris on the walls and the Bugattis and the what else? The Lamborghinis, the Porsches, right? You know, we've all known a 911 Porsche since God knows how long, but nobody's talking about the NSX, and I love it, and I wanted what I've always wanted. It's always been the dream, not because I wanted other people to look at it, because I wanted to look at it. I wanted to be the one behind the wheel, you know, and not because it's the fastest, not because it's the coolest, not because it brings you the most respect or whatever. It's because it just brings you the most joy, and I would never walk away from that car without doing the double take, without turning back. So for 2001 Acura NSX, I believe that for certain, $100,000. Like, when I used to look at it and dream before, like, I'd say in 2016, I'd look at it and dream, it was going for about $45,000, which was a pretty appreciable price, because it was the top tier sports car that you could get from Honda and Acura. And it's still the case. It's the only like real sports car you could get from Honda and Acura. And besides the newest version, the newest model, which is like about $70,000, somehow this model from 2001 is higher price tag than the model from 2020 on to now. So I say about $100,000, but let's see what Kelley Blue Book says that we could get one for. Kelley Blue Book says $99,000. And I'm telling you what, I'm right there with you, Kelley Blue Book. I believe that's a fair deal. I believe that it's an exorbitant cost. Don't get me wrong. It is a crazy amount of money, but again, I'm not spending that money because I'm getting 600, 700 horsepower. I'm not spending that money because when I drive down the road, people are wondering what I do for a living. I'm driving down the road and people are wondering, like, why did he pick that car? Like, what is that car? And it's like, oh wait, that's an NSX, that's sweet. Those are the immediate and probably only 3 responses that you're gonna get, is either jealousy from the very few who know what it is, and confusion from everybody else who doesn't care. So, but I care, and I do wish it was cheaper, but we're checking it on the list, and I'm gonna have to shell out $99,863 just to throw it in the Dream Car Garage, and that's probably gonna lift our price a lot. But yeah, let's keep it going. And the last one on the list for today, because again, we have such a long list, so this is the end of part 2, a 2022 Toyota Sienna Hybrid. I hope I get hate in the comments, because you're hating if you don't think this is the best daily driver on the planet. My wife will never let me buy one, but that's okay. She's not in charge of the money. I'm in charge of wasting all the money. So I'm gonna waste about $45,000 on the Toyota Sienna Hybrid, because it's a beautiful car. It's great, it's spacious, it looks like a spaceship. You just slam it to the ground, you put on air suspension, and you just make it look crazy as all heck. Like, that's all I care about. Just black limo tint the crap out of it, slam it to the ground, bump Far East movement, call it a day for $45,000. And Kelley Blue Book, or we could just go for this one since it's such a new car, we could probably just go to whatever a new one goes to for Toyota, which is, wow, okay, actually a lot less, $35,000, pretty much 36 rounding up. Not bad at all. I think that's a great price. That's less than a lot of other equivalent cars like today. So that's fantastic. It's less than a lot of cars on this list. Then some cars are 20 to 30 years older. So that's fantastic. $35,000 for a fantastic minivan. I don't care what you say. Minivans are fantastic. Slam all the minivans in the world. That concludes this list for today with a subtotal of $274,000 for the Dream Car Garage. And that's only the beginning. We're gonna come at you guys with a part 3 soon, so look out for that. If you like more of these videos, don't forget to like the video, and don't forget to comment with what your dream car garage is. Maybe it's 0 cars, maybe it's only electric vehicles, maybe it's only scooters, maybe it's Honda Groms, I don't know what you're into. Maybe it's only Suzuki crotch rockets. I don't know how you need to get around. But maybe it's the public bus, you just wanna buy a bus, I don't know, or you just wanna take the bus. It's a bus pass. My dream car garage is a $300 bus pass. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. We'll see you guys in the next one.